Hello everyone and welcome to another video in this channel. My name is Abraham Leal and today we're going to be doing a full project, or we're going to start a full small project. I think the little like a Christmas gift last week was fun. I know it was a little bit simple compared to other other stuffs that we do here in the channel. So we're going to bring this up a notch a little bit before we jump into our Christmas week, which is going to be next week. So let me show you the concept here real quick. And yeah, I was browsing ArtStation as I usually do to get inspiration and stuff. And I came across this guy right here, Stephen Nickel. He is from the United States, and he had a doodle page, and he had this little creature right there. And I was like, "Ooh, that's interesting. That looks like a nice sculpting exercise that we can do, and maybe even like a texture exercise. Let's see how far we can bring this guy in the next couple of days." But yeah, you can find a lot of stuff. This is one of the recommendations that I give all of my students. Whenever you're browsing ArtStation, it is of course a little bit what's the word, impressive, right, to see all of this amazing things and amazing works on the characters. But if you find someone that you like this guy right here, Liquid Coco, he is from, I'm not sure, China, I'm gonna guess. So always jump onto their page, because even if I see like one of his works, there's probably gonna be way more. This guy has an amazing amount of stuff right here. And if you only go for like the very first ones or the ones that are on trending, you might not see all other stuff that might be really cool to work. For instance, like this one right here. This looks like a really interesting concept. It will be quite difficult to do, to be honest, because of the vegetation. Normally, I don't recommend doing this kind of projects for beginner students or intermediate students, because they are not as clear as some things that what might be more defined. So something like this, for instance, is way better. Yes, it has this very like outgrown and stylized effect, but it's a little bit easier to understand what's going on. If you don't go into the page and you don't look for him, it might be a little bit difficult to find this kind of stuff. So in my case, I went and saw this guy. I don't use ArtStation as much as a social media, to be honest. And I saw this guy. He had like amazing looking stuff. I think this was the one that I saw, and then I went here, and in this guy, Creature Doodles, he had like a lot of guys, very nice little drawings, and then it was this guy. So it's kind of like a hidden gem, right? Like you like, not a lot of people might have seen this guy, and that's also a plus for your portfolio, because if it's not a super well known element, then you have a little bit of the like the surprise factor. I've always mentioned how fan art is really good to get likes, because everyone like knows the characters and stuff, but it might not be the best to showcase how good you are at interpreting like stuff. So yeah, this is the guy, and we're gonna start traditionally. I'm gonna go Lightbox, and we're gonna go for a Dynamesh sphere. And here we go. I've been struggling with like working on my display tablet. I don't know why. It's just been a little bit difficult. So I'm gonna go with my move brush, and whenever we're starting a project, we need to focus on the main shapes first. What's the most important thing of this element? Of course, the little like carapace thing. So I'm gonna go to the side view right here. I'm gonna get rid of perspective. I don't like working with perspective. And I'm gonna start creating the shape of the carapace. So as you can see, this goes quite low right there. It's quite flat on the top. It's not as round. So I'm gonna flatten this up. And we don't see the back, but from a design perspective, I'm guessing this has sort of like a shield shape, kind of like a crab, right? I can see definitely there's some crab inspiration in this guy. So I'm gonna flare it out on the back like this, so we can create a nice little like effect over here. Maybe give it like a little bit of curvature here as well. There we go. So this will be like the main block. Then we can see this is kind of like a mushroom. So I'm gonna start carving. This is the sketching phase. Remember, whenever we're working, you don't want to be doing like details and stuff. You want to do the main shapes, the basic forms first, and then you want to jump onto more advanced elements. So this will be like the sketching of the body. We create the forms of the body. I'm just using the clay buildup right now. This is one of my favorite brushes here inside of Zbrush. And I'm just creating the base shape right here. I wish I could share the music with you right now. I'm listening to this. What is it? Where is it? There we go. Raining in Kyoto, like the lo-fi stuff. So music is always super important for the working process. There we go. So let's push this right here. Now, after this, you can see the face is forward. It's on this area right here. It's not super easy to tell because we don't have a perspective view, but I would imagine the face would be like right around there. I'm going to re-dynamesh to get more resolution. That will be roughly where the face would be. This will be where the eyes would be. And then it has like this big fangs right here. Again, just a blocking, just a general idea of where things are. Something like this. We can, of course, try to match the camera perspective and polish a couple of things, like maybe make this thing a little bit sharper. I'm going to use my trim dynamic to trim down a little bit of the areas there. But there we go. I can definitely see that there's this sort of, again, like the mushroom effect, like the cap of a mushroom. So this thing kind of like flows down into the character. This. There we go. This is a really cool exercise. Also, if you guys are interested in learning the full like workflow for games, like this is a perfect creature to try to model, well, sculpt, model, rig, animate, and even like program inside of Unreal. I'm not sure I'm gonna be able to do that in just a week, but we're gonna play around and see. Then we have the body, which would be like right around there, and you can see it has like a weird like tail, kind of like a carrot. So I'm gonna use my move brush. Just like push the tail out like this. That seems good. I think that's interesting. I'm still gonna push the mushroom form a little bit more here in this area, so we can create this very nice like tree looking thing. And then we have the tail. The tail, you can see it has two like main lines. Those lines we're not gonna add here. Those will be like an appendage, so it will be coming from there. And we have 6 legs, 6 like back legs right here. So I'm going to mask out where I would imagine the legs to be. So one will be right around there. The second one will be right around there. And the third one will be right around there. Well, before that, let's dynamesh real quick to get more resolution. To recalculate the surface. And we'll here, here, and here. Now, this is the first time you're watching Zbrush and you're like, oh, this looks cool. I want to learn how to do that. We actually have courses and places where you can learn. And one of those places is, of course, our partner here, Skillshare. Hey guys, Abraham here. I just wanted to remind you guys that we upload all of our courses to Skillshare. Skillshare is this amazing site where you can access a ton of different content to learn, improve, and grow as an artist. We have all of our courses available to watch and learn from right now in Skillshare. You can check the description down here, and Skillshare is offering 1 free month trial to their premium membership. With this membership, you're going to be able to access all of our courses and watch and learn all of the amazing things that we cover with all of the softwares. So, what are you waiting for? Check Skillshare down here below. There we go. So have you guys noticed in the past like 7 minutes that I've been taking things a little bit slower than normal? I tend to rush things quite a bit when I'm recording these videos, and I've been doing quite a bit of introspection and reflection on the last couple of days, and I felt like I've lost a little bit of the, not a lot, right, but a little bit of the joy of sculpting, and I've been just so focused on the work, on the studio, on the courses and everything. So I want to enjoy the ride a little bit more. That's why I'm taking a little bit more time here and being a little bit slower in here. So thank you if you're watching this. Here I'm using the move brush to give the sort of curvature to the little legs. Again, not worrying too much about the details just yet. This is just the main like construction. Now, even though this is not a human, you can, whenever you're doing like creatures and stuff, you can always try and see how the anatomy of a creature like is similar to the anatomy of a character, right? So if we see it from the bottom, you can very easily see that this will be like the torso, right? Like this will be where the like pectoral muscles will be. This will be like the rib cage. This will be the abdomen, and then we have the legs on the sides. So again, even though we're not doing a character per se, you can still kind of like pinpoint those sort of things on the character. Let's rotate this thing around. From the front view, I like how this is looking, but I would definitely like bring this down to create like this sort of like a round shape here. I'm gonna use trim dynamic to kind of like flatten the curvature. One of the most important things about like creature design and pretty much any kind of design is making sure that it reads nicely from all of the angles. So when I see this angle, I really want to see this round shape. When I see this angle, I want to see this round shape right here. So that means that we're probably gonna have to modify the curvature there a little bit without affecting the one on the front. Very, very common mistake is when you're working on a concept, you only focus on one side of the concept or on one side of the character, and that makes it really difficult to do the other things. Now, this one, we're actually gonna do it inversely. I'm gonna say VI, and then I'm gonna insert a primitive, and I'm gonna insert a sphere right here. And then with W, I'm gonna move the sphere to the side, and with my move brush, I'm gonna create the claw, like this, like purple claw that we have right there. So let's create the purple claw. As you can see, it goes quite high. It's like a big shape. I'm guessing he can use it like a shield as well to protect himself because of the purple thingy that it has. I'm gonna use trim dynamic to flatten this inside part. I give it this very organic looking shape. DMV is a shortcut for the brush. I'm gonna try to move to my tablet, so you might see the side of my face now. Because I need to be a little bit more precise. There we go. Just move brush, clay buildup. That's all of the brushes that we're using right now. So that to me looks good. Size-wise, I think I'm gonna take a little bit of an artistic liberty and just make them a little bit bigger than on the concept. Again, because I do kind of want him to use them as a shield. Now that's gonna be again the purple claw. You can see how it separates from the rest of the element. Now in this, I'm not sure if the proper word is like an anthropode or then these are like insect-like things. There's usually like ball and the ball and socket kind of joints on the characters. So what I'm gonna do here is I'm actually gonna go to subtool. I'm gonna say split or split mask points. That way, the claws, as you can see right there, are going to be their own subtool, and the character right here is going to be another character. So from here, we do want to have the connection to the arm, which will be right around there. It's Dynamesh. And then I'm going to mask that connection, invert the mask, and with W, I'm going to Control or Alt and tap one of those points right there so that I can get the connection there. And I'm going to move the connection to where this thing is supposed to be, which as you can see is high up, right? It's high on the higher part of this thing right there. I'm gonna inflate then, because you can see that the connection point is quite wide. So I'm gonna inflate and Dynamesh, smooth, of course. That's gonna be like the first joint, but I am expecting, to be honest, to have a second joint like lower, like right around here. Okay. So you can expect this to be like 1, 2, 3. Okay, so it's one connection there and 2 connections there, and of course this third connection. So you get the sort of like claw shape, right? Like imagine my palm right now. That will be like the purple thing, and then we have my arm, and then the forearm, and then the arm. That's the exact same thing. This will be like the hand, and then this will be like the arm, and this will be like the forearm. Ooh. Let's go back to my clay buildup. And we can start now playing a little bit with the anatomy. This will be like the shoulder socket, right? Like where we would expect to see the shoulder socket, which we are not really seeing because of the way the concept is constructed. But that doesn't mean that we can't do it. I'm gonna use trim dynamic on the claws now to sharpen up that border right there. And in a very similar fashion to how we created the socket on the arm, we also need to create the socket on this claw so that we get this nice little border right there. There we go. Dynamesh, and we can even go with like a smaller brush. Just create like a border around. Very carefully here around the whole character. And Dynamesh. There we go. Now we go back to this guy. Let's help with the thing that we just mentioned. So we really want to make sure that when we rig this, it's very obvious where the main connections are gonna be. So So we can start like sketching up the position of this guys right here. Also gonna use my Damien standard. We're gonna carve in again where the arm would be. I would expect this guy to be, and you can kind of see it there, made out of like a lot of like armor pieces. Have you seen how bugs have this sort of like cheating? Is that cheating? Like it's like an exoskeleton, right? So that's kind of what we're going for. Now the tooth or the teeth, those are important. So what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna start working with the mouth shape and defining where the teeth are gonna be. They seem to be part of the character. I normally don't do the teeth as part of the character because it becomes quite complicated. But in this case, it does seem to be, except for this guys right here. Most of the other teeth do appear to be part of the character, and they appear to be going like back here into the jaw. And then I'm gonna use a BSH, the snake hook brush, BSH, to pull the front fangs right here. Then I'm gonna use my move brush to move them to up or open the thing a little bit. Now you can see that the lower jaw kind of looks like it's separated, like maybe it's like an a hinge or something. And again, from an animation standpoint, that could potentially be a really good thing for us. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna like mask out. Let's hide this guys for just a second. I'm gonna go Control Alt and then change my Shift Alt and Shift Control and change my selection to a select lasso. With this, what I can do now is I can hide everything that I don't want, like that. Hide this guys right here. And pretty much, as you can see, it's kind of like I'm extracting the jaw, right, from the character, which is actually how our jaw works. It's a separate bone, right? So something like this. I'm gonna press Control W, and as you are about to see now, when I bring everything back, you're gonna see that there's two polygroups. So when you have two polygroups, this is really helpful because you only need to go to group split, and hit OK, and now there's gonna be two polygroups. So this one with Dynamesh. We smooth out to clean the connection of the character. Dynamesh again. We go back to this one. We Dynamesh this one as well. And there we go. So we're going to have like the upper jaw and the lower jaw. And why is this helpful? Because again, from an animation standpoint, it's going to be a lot easier to animate the mouth because we can just do this right here. So even though it might look like we're complicating things, it's actually making it a lot easier for other elements. Here, of course, we're gonna have to sculpt a little bit of the inside of the mouth, especially if we're gonna have like a tongue or something. I'm not sure yet, to be honest, but we do need to sculpt a little bit of the things that we have right here. And you can see how these things are coming like down in a sort of like mushroom effect, mushroom shape from the upper part. Let's add the eyes. I think the eyes are going to really help. So to add the eyes, there's a lot of methods, but the one that I've been using for the past like 11 years, 12 years is just add a sphere. Add a sphere. Bring the sphere to the center, or make it the size that you want. As you can see, it's really, really small eye. So the eye is going to go right around there. And we're gonna go C plugin, subtle master, mirror. We're gonna mirror it to the other side. And that way, when we go back to this guy, especially if we increase the resolution a little bit, we're gonna be able to start like creating the eyelets, which, as you can see, very, very traditional looking eyelets right there. So just using my clay buildup here and creating this sort of like U shape going around both of them. Now on the upper side, because we're still missing the little like pipes that we have here on the upper side, we have, first of all, I can see a little bit of a ridge. So I'm gonna just draw the ridge. I'm actually gonna change my alpha to a round alpha, like alpha 6, so that these things are a little bit more organic. There we go. So you can see this line right here. That's like an indication of a ridge. We can add and then kind of like fade it back. Smooth. That's like a rough, rich creation for now. And then we have two little dots right here. And then two bigger dots right here. And then two larger like dots right here. That's it, right? Looks a little bit sharper, so I'm gonna like make this thing just a couple of changes here and there. You can also see this thing going down here, like a triangle sort of thing. So let's respect the concept in that regard and add that like extra rich right there. And when we see it from this angle, we should see that sort of shapes. We carve in there a little bit with the clay buildup to clean some of the shapes. Now this thing looks really ugly right now, so let's fix it a little bit. I'm actually gonna remove the things for now, and then I'm gonna use my inflate brush. There we go. Here we have 6 tooths. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They're gonna be right around there, and then there's like a spiky jaw right here. Some like protrusions for the fangs. Again, this is just the initial stage, so this is the sketching part. This is a really important part, and as you can see, we've spent like what 20 minutes on this so far, and this should already give our client or the art lead or whoever is helping us with this, it should give them a really like good idea of how things are looking. Gonna create the little pipes now, so Control Alt, go there, and just Alt. I clicked Alt to go to like the normal of that selection, and as you can see, we can just go here. That will be like the main things, and then we have smaller ones right here. Same deal, Control Alt to invert, Alt click. As you can see, we get like the airbrush of that thing. There we go. And then we're gonna have like small ones right around there, I would say. Alt click and just push them up. There we go. Now, of course, we need to give them a little bit more organicity. So with my clay buildup, I'm just gonna start carving. I know right here it looks like a perfect cylinder, but in nature, things are always a little bit organic. So I'm gonna play around a little bit with that like effect. Same thing on the border. We're gonna add a little bit of volume to fade this with the carapace. And then, of course, we're gonna carve the sand like this. How deep do you want to go? It depends on how like deep you're gonna see this on the game or on the cinematic. I'm gonna use my move brush to give this more of a cylindrical shape. Kind of like tapers a little bit on the towards the top, so you can do that as well. You can see that the base is a little bit wider than the rest. So I might just refill some of this volume right there. It's a little bit weird. There we go. Move brush. Oh, move brush. I think we're a little bit low, so I'm gonna be making big adjustments here. So a lot of people are scared to do this like big changes once you already have something that looks nice. Don't be afraid to do so. I had a teacher that said clay inside of Zbrush is free. You don't have to pay extra or anything. So if you mess up, that's fine. You just do it again. Just do it again. In real life, if you mess up, then yeah, you need to buy more paint or more like canvases and stuff like that. In 3D, in the digital world, That's one of the cool things. You don't have to. So you're free to just redo things. Yes, it's time, and of course, time is important. But it's part of the process. Here now that last one doesn't have as much taper, so I'm just gonna fill in the little border that it has on the base right there. And there we go. So I'm gonna do one last thing for this one because I know some people like to do this. It's not something that I normally do, but I think it's gonna look good for the thumbnail as well. So I'm gonna grab the character right here. I'm gonna add a little bit of color. So I'm gonna say color, fill object. Same for this one, color, fill object. On the newest ZBrush, this thing's gonna be a lot easier to do. Color, fill object. There we go. Now let's start with the jaw, for instance, and I can go to my standard brush. And I'm just gonna let me move this thing to the side. There we go. So I can sample. Oh no, I can't sample this color. So I'm gonna have to go for this sort of like that one looks very close. I'm gonna turn off CAD and I'm just gonna keep RGB. And there we go. As you can see, we're gonna be able to paint this in this sort of like yellowish hue. It's probably a little bit brighter, so something like that. There we go. And we're gonna jump to this guy and do the same thing. So just give it a quick paint job. Again, this is not necessary. I normally don't do this. I normally don't mess with textures when I'm working on a character, and the reason is they can be distracting. But it does give you a nice idea of how things are gonna look. So for instance, now we can go for this like dark red color. You can just like paint a couple of parts of the character like I'm seeing right there. There. Yeah, but there's going to be a little bit of this sort of like a reddish hue, right, going around. And then, of course, we're going to go for the purple. This. Go. We're going to go to the carapace. And again, it's not necessary, but does it look good? Yeah, it does. Let's now we can sample this color right there and just paint the beige. Sample the purple. Let's go a little bit lighter. Just kind of like give it some highlights. All of this we're gonna do with textures once we get there, but it's not a bad idea to just get an idea of how this character is gonna look, right? So this will be a very good blocking, I think. It looks like it looks close to the character. There's of course proportion things that we need to fix. For instance, I can see that this thing should be a little bit higher. All of these elements we can be changing as we keep moving forward. But this is what you would normally show your art lead or your client. Hey, it's like, hey, I've made some progress. Take a look at this. What do you think? Are the claws okay? Are the claws too big? Is the face too small? Like those sort of things. This is where when you want to catch what's the word? Hey. This is where you're going to catch the changes, because one of the most horrible things that happens in our industry, and unfortunately it's very common, is that you keep working and then the client or the final whoever's going to be the final check sees it and they're like, oh no, actually we made the decision and we don't want the claws to be as big, we want them to be smaller. So like, dude, you should have told me that before. But how could they have told you before if you haven't shown anything yet? Even though they gave you this concept, they might change their mind later on. So that's why sometimes it is important to show certain works in progress. So yeah, this is it, guys. This is the first like a picture, the first progress for this small project. We're gonna keep pushing, or we're gonna keep working with this one. The next week we're gonna have our Christmas week. So make sure to leave a comment, share, like, let us know what you think. Oh my god. Let us know what else. Damn, we didn't have any sneezes up till this point. So let us know what kind of content you also want to see here on the channel, and I'll be happy to do that for you. That's pretty much it, guys. Thank you very much, and I'll see you back tomorrow with more 3D content. Bye-bye.